Hi, everyone. We certainly hope that you're well. I am Raymond Sharp, and this is my lovely wife.
Tanesha Sharp.
And we're here to
Jump in.
So today's topic is something that I saw on social media the other day, and it made me think. And I'm a little concerned because I saw some of the responses, and I'm like, I don't know. So in short, the topic asked, it was like an ask Facebook type thing. What questions do you ask on the first date? Okay. And to me, I made my responses, and I'm gonna tell you why I made that response that I made. And I think that in most cases, people are asking superficial questions that have no relevance to the quality of person that someone is. My response was, I would ask them questions about current events because I want to understand if you basically, stay up on top of, things that are happening. And I also want to know what your thought process is. When you ask people about certain things that are happening and like in real time, you get to see like their heart without having to ask them, tell me about some of your things, your experiences from your past and all that stuff. You can understand the line of thinking. You can understand their perspective. And even if you have a different dissenting opinion, how do they respond to you? Are they combative? Are they, looking at you like that's dumb? Or, how do they respond with a contrary opinion? So there's so much you can find if you ask the right questions. And that's what we want to talk about today. What are some questions to get you the information you want without just being simply, how much money do you make? Where do you work? And to me, some of those things don't matter because all of that can change. I need to know the quality of person you are. And I think sometimes that's why some people get into relationships. They have their list. And on their list, okay, this is the response I want to hear. Okay, we're good. But it doesn't speak to the quality of the person. It speaks to what they have, but the quality of person is missed. And I think some people make mistakes and end up in relationships and they're like, man, how did I even get here? And you started off kind of like in error because you asked questions that it felt good to you. Oh, I like that response. But really, it didn't speak to the quality of who the person is.
That's good. That was awesome about perspective because you need to know that the person can see things from a different angle.
Correct.
How they see things from a different angle. And then you also can tell if someone's like, if they still have wounds from maybe past relationships, if they're like very emotional about certain things, like it tells you a lot.
Yes.
And I'm gonna be honest, when we talked about this the other day, when he first mentioned it, I was like, I would have never thought about asking about current events, but it made so much sense because that's something that will definitely just explains a lot or tell a lot. Like you can kind of like get a very, very good idea about a person, and even if they know what's happening, because sometimes people don't know what's happening or have a perspective or, and just knowing what you're really getting. And if that's, and that, like I said, that doesn't automatically write you off if they don't have a perspective or they don't know, but at least you know what's happening. Like you said, the quality of the person, what type of person they are. But yeah, that's good. I think that's very important to have an opinion. I remember when we first met, we had our conversation. It was a very deep conversation. It wasn't a conversation where you were trying to, hook up with me, but we were asking questions. I don't think you were asking me questions to hook up with me.
I wasn't.
But we were just having conversation, and it was so awesome, the conversation that we had when we first met. And I think that really just launched things for us. It was literally the conversation.
It did.
We talked for
hours.
It
really did.
Now I'm talking about, this is the first day I actually met him. We talked for hours. I want to say we talked for, like, no lie, we took a little break because I had to leave, but I came right back. We talked for about, I want to say almost
6-7 hours.
Like we're not even exact. I'm for real. Like it had to be about 6 or 7 hours.
6 or 7 hours.
And like I said, I left and came back, literally, and never had conversations like that before. Never was at a place where a man actually understood me and I felt like he heard me. And I didn't feel like we were just on two different planets, even though a lot of the way we thought back then was really different. But in that moment, I seen how much he really was listening to me and really understood women and just, and he heard me. And it was just a conversation that I will never forget.
Yeah.
And I don't remember, I don't remember exactly what we talked about, to be honest. You remember?
I remember bits and pieces.
I don't remember because that was 17, 18 years ago.
I remember bits and pieces.
I don't remember exactly what we talked about. I know that conversation changed me and how I looked at men, period. Because, I just never connected with somebody on that level before. And so conversation is big in the beginning, and I believe our conversation kind of helped you see what type of person I was. Even though we weren't trying to like analyze or like pick a person apart, I just feel like that really told us a lot and give us the option to move forward with that person. Or if that certain things aren't important to you, then they're not important to you. But you have to determine what's important to you outside of the whole superficial stuff.
Yeah.
What are you really getting? Because I think sometimes you get in a relationship and you get so far into a relationship that you're like, wow, I didn't even know she thought like this or he thought like that, right? Like, why are they moving like that? Like, why, where is this coming from? Like, who are you? You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you can find out all those things in the beginning if you're not so like mesmerized by the appearance and so impressed by that some of the actions that they're doing at that moment to impress you, because they're doing it to get your attention, to get you. But beyond that, when you get me, what are you going to do with me?
That's right.
And that's the question. When you get me, how are we going to continue to move forward? What is life going to look like 10, 15 years from now? If I choose to continue moving forward with you, am I wasting my time? Or, is this really going anywhere?
Yeah, I think too, we got to redefine why we're even dating.
Yeah.
Because I don't think, to be honest with you, I don't even think some people should date. I think even some adults aren't mature enough to really date, to be honest with you.
Or just be friends.
Just be friends. I think
really get to know people.
Yeah, I think there's so many.
Not necessarily friends with benefits, because benefits confuses. Yeah. Honestly, it confuses everything. It just crossed the lines. I mean, it just kind of like, ooh, where are we going? It rushes things. When you're just friends, it slows things down. But go ahead, I didn't mean to cut you off.
You're fine. I feel like, even within that, I think we have to define, why we want a relationship and what we really want. And I don't think enough of us are really honest about what we're looking for in a relationship. I think some people, they say, oh, we're dating just so they can hook up. They just, whatever you are and whatever you're looking for, you need to be upfront with that off jump and just say, hey, look, this is what it is. And I think one of the most dangerous things people do is make decisions for other people in relationships. Like, okay, this is what I want. I'm not going to be upfront. I'm just going to find a way to manipulate it out the person that I'm with. And I think that's where some of the questions come in. And I think we have to be so careful not to manipulate the people in our lives. I think we need to just step back and say, hey, look, this is where I'm at. This is where I am. These are my experiences. This is why I think like this. And if you're not cool with any of it, don't settle just for the sake of not being lonely. And I think that we have issues that we accept things that we shouldn't accept, knowing that this is not going to end well for me. But then a few years down the line, we find ourselves asking ourselves, man, how did this happen? Or why are they treating me like this? You allow them to, especially if you allow someone to self-identify. And one of to me, it's funny and it's concerning. I saw a meme on social media, and it basically was saying, like, to men, you don't have to lie to her. She'll lie to herself. And I think I was that girl. And honestly, I was. It's sad.
I was that girl.
But as long as we're honest with ourselves and don't accept what we don't want, I think we all be in a better place.
Yeah, I'm so glad I'm not that. I'm not that same person. But yeah, I was that. That was me.
Yeah.
I assumed certain things. And the biggest thing before I met you, I think I did was I just always remember what happened in the previous relationship and say, okay, I don't want that again. And so I'm looking for not that instead of just looking for what I need to be looking for.
Right.
You look at how horrible your last relationship was and say, well, I don't want that. So I'm gonna make sure, instead of really saying, really understanding who you are and really what you need too. Not necessarily what you want.
What you need.
But what you need. I think that's really important, and God has been so good. I'm grateful that God gave me what I needed versus what I wanted. And I honestly, I didn't necessarily, I think I was still kind of young. I didn't really know what I wanted, but if you're older and more mature and you know what you need, look for that. If you're starting a business or you are a business owner, there's certain things you need. You need support. You need someone who's able to be flexible with you. Like, you need someone that's going to be patient with you. Like, there's certain characteristics and things that you need in somebody that you're dating or just thinking about marrying when you are a business owner. So that's just an example. But anything that you're pursuing or you know that you're working towards, you know, they have to be able to flow with you, you know, in a sense.
Absolutely.
But yeah.
Well, look,
I hope this helped.
Yeah,
I hope you guys
this
enjoyed
helped as
this.
well.
Jump in, stay in, you know, and ask the right questions.
Ask better questions. And
Better questions.
I'm gonna take just real
Yeah,
quick. I'm gonna take a step back just for a second. When we talked about looking for asking current event questions, even if they don't know what happened, just say, hey, well, let me explain. Oh, this is what happened. Explain it to them and dialogue off of that.
Yeah, and then see what they thought, what their thoughts are.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good too.
It's just a lead in. And you know, to me, I need to see if you can form an opinion. That's what I need to see. I need to see. To me, it's important that a woman can have her own thoughts instead of saying whatever you want. That's what's important
because
to me.
they're afraid maybe to say what they're thinking.
No, I need to know. It's important for me to be with a woman that just is gonna say whatever you want. That I want to hear that. I want to hear, what do you think? You don't have any thoughts, and if you don't, that's concerning for me. But that's just me.
Yeah, and everybody's, like I said, you're different. Everyone's, you know, has their own thing, but find out go beyond, go deeper, and then you don't waste time that way. You know, you'll know early on.
Yep.
Yeah, she's beautiful, or yeah, he's fine, but you'll know early on, can I really see this going anywhere?
Yeah.
And also, if you are wanting to date, seriously wanting to date, you know, potentially to get married, you know, these are some areas you can make sure you're coming up in as far as having a perspective and making sure you are, you know, you have your own opinion, even as a woman, you know, that you are, perspective is everything. Being able to see things from different angles has been always my thing. I'm always open to what other people's perspective, like other people's viewpoint, and considering those things, because that helps me, you know, not be so narrow-minded about life and how to look at stuff, you know.
And for me, ultimately, I like having conversations. I like
You do.
I like understanding and seeking more information and knowledge. And I didn't consider that. Let me look more into that. Let me study. Let me research. But ultimately, for me, and how I see this is that with my children, this woman is going to be the example for my daughter, and this woman is also going to be the standard of how my sons interact and deal with women. This is going to be like their first real substantial relationship with a woman. And I need that. I want that to be something that's positive, something that's encouraging, enriching, educational, and a whole lot of other things. And that begins in the home. So for me, that's what I was looking for. And that's why I said, again, you know, I was dating to get married, not to play around. So wherever you are, you need to define what you're looking for and not compromise but don't compromise at all. Get what you really want. And if it's not what you want, chill out.
Yeah, because you have your future, like you said, your kids.
Yeah, and grandkids.
It's
listen. If you could be real honest, some of the
yeah.
best advice come from grandmothers, right?
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
if you
and like I said, he said we like to talk. When we dialogue, you know, he hears my perspective because I don't always agree with you, but he considers what I'm saying. He said, you know what, you do have a point. And 9 times out of 10, when you are in dialogue with someone, you see the other side, and you can appreciate their line of thinking as well.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes the way you see things just is because of how you were raised, and you know, just, you know, but when you're like, you know what, that makes sense. I can see a person that have gone through this, you know, and you have a better appreciation for what other people go through.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm sad about that, and not just being so wrapped up into our now.
Yeah.
And what we feel like, or what we want, you know, all the things that we want in a person versus what we need, or what will be good for us in the future.
Absolutely.
All right. Absolutely. We love you all. Thank you so much
Yep.
for joining us for this jump in. I hope this was good for you, helpful, or whatever. And I hope you got something out of it. And until next time, we want you to what?
Jump in.
Have a wonderful evening.
Y'all
Bye.
take care.